He raised his hand and took out a green lotus throne. The heavenly emperor beside him was meditating and cultivating. His body was surrounded by wisps of strange black aura, as if there were evil spirits around him. It was ghastly and terrifying. 5 days later, Great Nine Heavens frowned as he felt the cursed power increase. Why was it always 5 days later? Could there be something to it? Great Nine Heavens had accompanied Jade Emperor Zhou Yan to resist the curse and captured this detail. As he pondered, he resisted the curse. In the Khanate cave abode, Hanju stared at his attributes panel. 110 billion years. 150 billion years. 200 billion years. 250 billion years. Because Great Nine Heavens didn't develop any emotions towards Hanju, he didn't know the other party's exact situation. Who cared? He would give him 300 billion years to enjoy first. Hanju continued cursing. He only stopped after deducting 300 billion years of his lifespan. Although Hanju was fine after spending 600 billion years of his lifespan, he was inexplicably terrified. To be precise, it was guilt. He felt that he had let down his soul and Tao heart. However, the Heavenly Emperor was in trouble, so he had no choice but to take action. I wonder if that fellow is injured. Hanju thought worriedly. Should he deduce it? Forget it! That was a pseudo-sage. If he asked, he would lose a lot of his lifespan. Hanju started to adjust his emotions and prepared to continue cultivating. In the hall, Great Nine Heavens was still meditating and healing his injuries. His expression changed from madness, anger, fear, and gloominess as if he had multiple personalities. The Heavenly Emperor stood at the side staring at him. After a long time, Great Nine Heavens opened his eyes. His expression was extremely ugly as he muttered, "Damn it! Why is this fellow's curse so terrifying? How many lives has he sacrificed?" He believed that the Dark Forbidden Lord sacrificed living beings to curse the enemy. Using his lifespan to curse the enemy was the strongest way. No one would sacrifice their own lifespan to curse their enemies, even if they were Zenith Heaven Golden Immortals. Zenith Heaven Golden Immortals were said to be immortal, but that was only the definition of all living beings. No Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal had lived from the beginning of the world until now. They were either dead or had broken through to a higher realm to elevate their essence of life. In addition, if he used his lifespan to curse, he would definitely provoke karma. To a Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal, this was the greatest taboo. Even if he was a pseudo-sage. The more Great Nine Heavens thought about it, the more he felt that the Dark Forbidden Lord was a huge danger. If he let him continue to grow, he would definitely become a huge threat to the Heavenly Tao. We have to report this to the sages. Great Nine Heavens thought silently. At this moment, his mental demon was in chaos. He was so shocked that he hurriedly used his supreme dermic powers to suppress it. However, the mental demon was too strong, causing his dermic powers to run wild. He injured his Tao fruit and his cultivation fell slightly. Damn Dark Forbidden Lord! If he didn't take revenge, he wouldn't be qualified to be a pseudo-sage. Suddenly, the Heavenly Emperor, who had been standing quietly beside him, suddenly attacked Great Nine Heavens. With a palm strike, countless black chi wrapped around Great Nine Heavens like dragons and snakes. Great Nine Heavens turned around and widened his eyes. He shouted angrily, "You!" The Heavenly Emperor pulled with his right hand. Countless black chi interwove with lightning and tore Great Nine Heavens' body apart. Humph! An evil creature like you wants to rebel? You're overestimating yourself. Great Nine Heavens' voice sounded, his tone filled with anger. Another 10 years had passed since he had cursed Jade Emperor Zhou Yan and Great Nine Heavens. To mortals, 10 years was a long time. But to Hanju, it was like yesterday. He took out the Book of Misfortune and continued cursing Jade Emperor Zhou Yan while checking his emails. The humans and Heavenly Court had already started a full-scale war. Most of the emails were about being attacked or even about being severely injured. How tragic! Humans were not demons. If they fought, they would either win or be wiped out. They would continue fighting. Hanju was waiting for Xing Hongxian to return. As long as she went to the void, she would use the invocation technique. However, after so many years, she had never used it. Although Hanju was a little worried, he still waited patiently. Recently, he had not seen any emails about Xing Hongxian encountering danger. The portrait was still there. She was probably waiting for the opportunity. After reading the emails, Hanju made up his mind not to enter the calamity. From now on, no matter who looked for him, he would never go out. He had to survive this calamity first. 10 days later, Hanju's curse ended. He would visit Fang Liang in his dreams this time. Before dreaming, he first deduced, will my dream attract the attention of others? 100 million years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. Fortunately, it was only 100 million years. It was not expensive. Not for the time being. Hanju heaved a sigh of relief and immediately performed the technique. The two of them came to the numinous palace. This numinous palace was the scene Hanju saw when he transformed it. It was dilapidated and desolate, just nice to match what he had to say. The scene in the dream was entirely decided by Hanju. He felt that the atmosphere was very important. Fang Liang was stunned when he saw Hanju using his true body and not the image of the Dark Forbidden Lord. After coming back to his senses, Fang Liang hurriedly bowed and said, "Greetings, Grand Master." Even as the Heavenly Emperor, Fang Liang did not forget Hanju's kindness. He knew very well that if not for him, he would not be here today. Hanju smiled and asked, "How have you been? Does the position of Heavenly Emperor feel good?" Fang Liang smiled bitterly. "We're just pawns and puppets." Facing Hanju, he didn't pretend to be strong. He began to talk about the internal and external troubles of the Heavenly Court. The Heavenly Court looked powerful, but as more and more factions joined, many internal conflicts ensued. As the Heavenly Emperor, his cultivation level was insufficient, so he couldn't suppress all the ambitious people. Every time the numinous palace discussed matters, they would quarrel. If not for Li Daokong, they would probably fight. In the outside world, the Heavenly Court was unprecedentedly powerful, but in Fang Liang's opinion, this alliance was extremely weak and could be destroyed at any time. After he finished speaking, Hanju asked, "Are you willing to come back?" Hanju remained silent. This was not Fang Liang scaring himself. After all, the sages were watching. How could they allow him to destroy the game they had set up? Apart from sages, the Heavenly Court's enemies would also target Fang Liang. After becoming the Heavenly Emperor, Fang Liang had offended too many people. During this period of time, all the enemies the Heavenly Court had offended would blame him because he was the Heavenly Emperor. Hanju said, "Then, you can only be careful. Next, I will completely close the hidden sect and avoid the immeasurable calamity." Fang Liang was not surprised. Instead, he asked with a smile, "Grand Master, what's your cultivation level now? With your potential, you're at least at the deity realm, right?" Hanju replied, "Yes, I'm only at the one mystic divine origin." Fang Liang praised, "Grand Master's talent is truly unprecedented. You be a genius even in the primordial era. You can even compete with the Tao ancestor." Hanju smiled and didn't say anything. He might not trust the others, but he believed Fang Liang when he said this. Although Fang Liang was helpless, Hanju clearly felt that he wanted to fight for Providence. He was not completely coerced by others. This was his own intention. Everyone had their own fate. Hanju couldn't force it. After returning to the Khanate cave abode, Hanju hesitated to contact Xing Hongxian again. However, after thinking about it, he decided not to. If he did it too frequently, it would alert the enemy. Next, Hanju visited Shen Qingjun in her dreams. She had helped him a lot in the beginning and given him all sorts of resources. The favor he owed her was the most important. The dream was a cave abode, and the light was dim. Xian Qingjun was stunned when she saw him. Come back. The immeasurable calamity is about to erupt. The human race will definitely lose. Even the immortal gods will die, Hanju said solemnly. Xian Qingjun frowned and fell into deep thought. Hanju waited patiently. After a long time, Xian Qingjun said, "Thank you for your kind intentions, but I want to fight." Sorry. She looked at Hanju with an exceptionally gentle gaze. She believed him. The fact that Hanju could reveal the heavenly secrets to her meant that he really cared about her. Hanju remained silent. Hanju knew that this was the truth. Not just anyone could reach the immortal emperor realm. Although the hidden sect wanted everyone to become immortal emperors, those who had reached this realm were all geniuses among themselves. Hanju said, "As long as you don't regret it." Xian Qingjun smiled and shook her head. Hanju thought for a moment and said, "In that case, I'll teach you some mystical powers." Xian Qingjun had already obtained the inheritance of a mighty figure from the Jia school. However, this was Hanju's kind intention, so she didn't reject it. Hanju began to teach her the mystical power. Soon, Xian Qingjun was shocked. This mystical power, it was stronger than all the mystical powers she had grasped. What cultivation level was this kid at now? Xian Qingjun suddenly couldn't understand Hanju. Could it be that this man had already reached the top level of the immortal world? Thinking of this, Xian Qingjun was inexplicably stunned. She couldn't help but think of the scene when she first saw Hanju. At that time, she only felt that Hanju was the most good-looking and the only one who could move her heart. She didn't expect him to be a mighty figure of the immortal world. Is this kid the reincarnation of a mighty figure? Definitely. After returning to reality, Hanju sighed. Was this the immeasurable calamity? Apart from Xing Hongxian, the others knew that it was extremely dangerous, but they did not return. The reason why Xing Hongxian was willing to return was that she had already obtained the sage's inheritance and was qualified to avoid the calamity. Hanju then went to visit Zhou Fan, Mo Fuzhou, and Ji Xianshan in their dreams. The three of them rejected his good intentions. Zhou Fan and Ji Xianshan still challenged him. However, he did not give them a chance and directly canceled the dream. Hanju thought of Mo Zhu again. This girl had not done anything for a long time. He immediately dreamed, but he was shocked to find that he could not find her. He hurriedly clicked on Mo Zhu's profile picture. He was shocked. Why did this girl reach the Grand Unity True Immortal Realm? With her potential, how could she cultivate so fast? Hanju immediately deduced, "I want to know, why can't I visit Mo Zhu's dream? 100 million years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue?" Continue. Sage Dao Field, there are great Dao restrictions to isolate your mystical power. Sage Dao Field. Hanju was shocked. Why was Mo Zhu also chosen by a sage? Hanju continued, "I want to know which sage it is. 5 billion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue?" Continue. Li Muyi, cultivation unknown. Transcendent Dao expert, sect master of the human school, creator of the sword Dao. His existence is untraceable. Because you refuse to protect the sword Dao river, his impression of you has worsened. He thinks that your personality is not worthy of being a sword cultivator. Current hatred points, New Star. Sect master of the human school. Hanju frowned. Didn't this fellow look down on him? Why did he want to take Mo Zhu away? It was definitely not a coincidence. Sages could see through karma. The moment they saw Mo Zhu, they knew that she was related to him. I want to know why Li Mui took in Mo Zhu. Hanju continued to ask in his heart. 5 billion years of lifespan will be deducted. I didn't even blink when spending 600 billion years of lifespan. What's 2 billion now? Continue. Hanju thought firmly. Being targeted by a sage was really unpleasant, and there was more than one now. Hanju's consciousness entered the illusion. It was an endless hall. An old man sat on a mat. He looked extremely tiny here, like a firefly in the night. Li Muyi. He wore a Taoist robe and had white hair and a youthful face. He had a sage-like bearing and looked very similar to ancestor Shitian. He suddenly opened his eyes and frowned, muttering, "The human school is facing a calamity." At this moment, a figure appeared in front of him. Li Muyi immediately stood up and bowed. Hanju frowned. Who was this person? To be able to make Li Muyi bow, he was not simple. Could it be the Dao ancestor? No! The Dao ancestor was long gone, and he had not disappeared recently. How old was Emoju? The timing did not match. If the human school wants to transcend the tribulation, it needs to rely on variables. Are you still paying attention to that variable? The figure spoke with an ethereal voice. Li Muyi said, "Master, I'm paying attention to him. This child has a weak personality and only cares about immortality. It's probably very difficult to change the heavenly Tao, let alone the great Tao. Can we rely on him?" The figure replied, "The variable is something that even us sages can't predict. If we want to break through, we can only rely on him. The three schools of the Tao sect are powerless before the great Tao calamity." Li Muyi frowned. He said in a low voice, "Dao Kong is very concerned about him and wants to take him in as a disciple, but he rejected him. He's not easy to approach." The figure said, "This child doesn't have much karma, but he values relationships. You can take this woman as your disciple." He waved his right hand and Emoju's figure appeared beside him like a projection. Li Muyi frowned even harder and said, "This mortal's potential is too poor. She's not worthy." "Humph, you don't listen to me anymore?" "All right." Li Muyi agreed helplessly. Then, the scene shattered. Hanju opened his eyes. They were filled with worry. How many mighty figures were watching him? "I want to know, who is Li Muyi's master?" Hanju continued to think. That fellow sounded so cool just now. How strong must he be to accept a sage as his disciple? 50 billion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. Hanju gritted his teeth and made his choice. Curiosity killed the cat. The identity of the sage was too enticing. Lao Zi, cultivation unknown. Transcendent Tao expert, first disciple of the Tao ancestor, founder of the human school, immeasurable emperor, sword Tao sovereign. Gasp! The legendary Lao Zi. This person had a high status in Chinese mythology and history. Hanju did not expect him to really exist. It seemed that he was not as simple as a heavenly Tao sage. Stronger! Could it be that he had already reached the great Tao level? How strong was Hongjun? Hanju cursed silently. If this was really the background of the primordial world, wouldn't he have arrived in an era countless times later than Journey to the West? Perhaps the primordial world and legends were these sages' projections of the heavens. They visited all living beings and let their legends spread widely. Hanju increasingly felt that the existences above were unfathomable. He was also curious about the impression and effect of this variable in the sage's eyes. He clearly felt that Li Muyi looked down on him. Although Nuwa wanted to rope him in, she did not have a good impression of him. Could it be that sages were really heartless? Impossible! How could they be impartial? Ever since he experienced this calamity, Hanju felt that sages were fighting for benefits and didn't even care about people's lives. It could be said that they were extremely selfish. Hanju shook his head and stopped thinking about this. Then, he thought of Huang Zuantian and Su Qi. Should he visit their dreams? Su Qi was in the dark forbidden zone, so he should be fine. Huang Zuantian's current identity was sensitive. Hanju did not want to visit his dreams. In addition to Jing Tiangong's existence, it would not be good if he was connected to the identity of the Dark Forbidden Lord. Hanju stopped the technique and continued cultivating. This was all he could do. Next, he waited for the calamity to descend. 40 years passed in a flash. Hanju still cursed once every 10 years. Although Jade Emperor Zhou Yan had become a heavenly devil, his portrait was still there, so Hanju had to keep cursing him. All these years, he had not left the cave abode and cultivated in peace. His cultivation had improved greatly. Hanju couldn't understand the immortal world because it had always been the humans and the heavenly court fighting. The news of the war filled his emails. Other than the war, he couldn't see any other news. On this day, Hanju finally felt Xing Hongxian using the invocation technique. To be safe, he still deduced first. After spending 100 million years of his lifespan and confirming that Xing Hongxian was not being watched, he rushed to the immortal world's void. Passing through the dark vortex, Hanju saw Xing Hongxian. She wore a white dress and was dazzling. She was beautiful and devastatingly beautiful. Seeing him appear, Xing Hongxian immediately flew over and smiled. "Let's go!" Hanju nodded and put her into his sleeve. Then, he stepped into the black vortex and returned to the Khanate cave abode. After Hanju released Xing Hongxian, he began to control Hidden Insect Island to move. Although the dark forbidden zone was very safe, it was good to be careful. Xing Hongxian wandered around the cave abode and sighed. This place still hasn't changed even after so many years. The strange deity sized her up curiously, surprised that she had come out of Hanju's body. "Your cave abode is still there." "Go," Hanju said. Xing Hongxian came up to him, her beautiful eyes filled with excitement. She covered her mouth and laughed. "Husband, I'm not free." "Fine." Xing Hongxian curled her lips and could only leave. Hanju was busy running away and didn't have the time to do those things with her. Xing Hongxian attracted everyone's attention as she walked out of the cave abode. She had already changed her appearance after reincarnation. No one could recognize her. The black hell chicken was the first to recognize her. It remembered Xing Hongshuan's aura, or more accurately, her soul aura. After Xing Hongshuan's identity was exposed, everyone was shocked. After understanding it, they muttered in their hearts, "She can even increase her potential like this?" Chu Shuren guessed it shouldn't be as simple as just a reincarnation. He guessed that it might be related to Empress Hutu. Otherwise, how could she have been born with such a great background so quickly? Diamond Rage and Chu Linger were from the Magus race. It was understandable that Empress Hutu helped Hanju. The black hell chicken looked at the three-headed Wyrm king and said, "Do you want to reincarnate?" The three-headed Wyrm king said angrily, "I don't need it." The current him was already at the bottom of the hidden sect. He had already guessed that the black hell chicken was mocking him. Xing Hongxian didn't stay for long. She quickly left, while the others continued to chat. An hour later, Hanju stopped the hidden sect island. He exhaled, the uneasiness in his heart finally subsiding. Xing Hongxian had returned from the human race. Even if they lost, it had nothing to do with Hanju. As for his other good friends, Hanju had already advised them anyway. If they really died, he could only pray for them in the endless and boring years ahead. If it's a battle between sages, it's best to come later. If not, it's best to go even earlier. Hanju thought silently and continued to absorb the negative karma in the 36th grade reincarnation world destruction Black Lotus. Half a year later, a line of words suddenly appeared in front of him. "Empress Nivel sent you a dream. Do you accept it?" Hanju wasn't surprised. He pretended not to see it and continued to absorb negative karma. "Empress Nivel sent you a dream. Do you accept it?" Again? Hanju neither rejected nor accepted it. In the following days, Nivel would try to send him a dream from time to time. It was even more frequent than the Dijuan back then. He finally pulled Xing Hongxian out. Hanju didn't want to enter the calamity. He would attain the Tao in the future. If he encountered Empress Nivel asking about this, he would pretend not to know. The signal of the dark forbidden zone was not good. 10 days later, Nivel finally gave up. Hanju didn't receive her hatred, either. As expected of a sage, she wouldn't develop emotions without understanding the truth. Since he had nothing to do, Hanju checked the emails. Your grand disciple Fang Liang was cursed by a mysterious curse. Your good friend Li Daokong was attacked by your good friend Jiang Dugu and was severely injured. Your good friend Divine General was attacked by a deity realm human and was severely injured. Your good friend Pen Xin was attacked by a heavenly court mighty figure. Your disciple Su Qi has broken through his limits and created his own Dao technique. Find EW chapters on NVLBI.com. Because of your curse, the killing intent of your enemy Jade Emperor Zhou Yan has increased. He slaughtered humans and was suppressed by the human race's sage. Your good friend Zhou Fan has obtained the human emperor's inheritance and joined the human race. His providence has transformed. Your good friend Mo Fuzhou has joined the human race. His providence has transformed. Hanju was amused upon seeing that Jade Emperor Zhou Yan was suppressed by Fuxishan. Bastard! Serves you right. Hanju also noticed that Zhou Fan and Mo Fuzhou had changed allegiance to the human race. These two traitors, they were not the only ones. Some immortals had also changed sides. If not for the outcome of the calamity, Hanju really didn't dare to believe that the heavenly court could win. After all, they had too many traitors. As he read, Hanju noticed another email. Your good friend Heavenly Emperor has fused with an inferior strange deity. He has regained control of his body and devoured the inferior strange deity. He has transformed into a chaotic evil spirit. Was the Heavenly Emperor saved or had he turned to the dark side? Hanju checked the Heavenly Emperor's portrait and discovered that he was showing a strange and sinister smile. It was evil and terrifying, like a villain who wanted to overturn all living beings. Hanju had no choice but to use the derivation function. I want to know the outcome of the Heavenly Emperor after the calamity. 2 billion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. Hanju's consciousness fell into the illusion. He arrived at the numinous palace. The hall was clean and bright, filled with faint golden light. The Heavenly Emperor, dressed in a black dragon robe, sat on the throne and stared at the sky outside the hall. Hanju turned around and discovered that the sky outside the numinous palace was pitch black. There was no night in the 9th level of heaven. Hanju was secretly nervous. The outcome of the calamity had changed again. Who would appear next? If it was someone he knew, that would be fine. However, he was afraid that there would be another unknown figure. There were countless mighty figures in the myriad worlds. There were countless peerless mighty figures hidden in the dark. Hanju had always been in seclusion, so he didn't understand the immortal world or the heavenly Tao. A ball of flames appeared in front of the numinous palace's door. The flames parted and a figure appeared. Hanju focused his gaze. This person was dressed in black armor and had a cloak on his back. His hair was disheveled and he had a murderous aura. He looked like a sinister general from the 9 Nether Hell. Hanju took a closer look. This person looked familiar. This fellow was Zhou Fan. Hanju was stunned. The calamity had just ended, but Zhou Fan was already so powerful? This aura did not feel inferior to Zhu Tu. The Heavenly Emperor smiled disdainfully. If not for the fact that you are a sage's Dharma idol and have the protection of a sage, you would have died in my hands. Zhou Fan said calmly, I've lost too many people in my life, but as long as I'm still alive, I can surpass them, including you, the Heavenly Emperor. In the war between the humans and gods, you devoured the grudges of all living beings everywhere, preventing countless ghosts from reincarnating. If the Heavenly Tao can't suppress you, I'll do it. Are you prepared to accept the blood debt of billions of humans? Hanju frowned. The Heavenly Emperor had turned dark, but the human race was still going to perish? The Heavenly Emperor laughed loudly. You? Mortal, you're just a pawn. Do you know why I can still be the Heavenly Emperor? He raised his right hand and an extremely terrifying aura erupted. Even though it was an illusion, Hanju couldn't help but tremble in fear. I've already surpassed the heavenly Tao. So what if you're a sage's Dharma idol? You're not a sage, after all. The scene in front of Hanju shattered and his consciousness returned to reality. His frown eased. Although the heavenly emperor had turned dark, it was fine as long as he survived this immeasurable calamity. The so-called dark side itself was subjective. In this chaotic era, what was wrong with trying his best to survive? Furthermore, the war between humans and gods was not caused by the heavenly emperor. It was controlled by those high and mighty sages. A single thought from a sage would cause billions of living beings to die. Wasn't this a sin? Hanju decided to enter the heavenly emperor's dream. He used the image of the dark forbidden lord. After entering the dream, Hanju saw the heavenly emperor. It was very similar to the image of the heavenly emperor in the illusion. His imperial robe became dark and his body emitted a terrifying evil aura. This evil aura was identical to the strange deity, but it was not as unfathomable. The heavenly emperor wasn't surprised to see him. Instead, he smiled. Before Hanju could speak, the heavenly emperor smiled and said, I was right. Hanju, you've already reached the zenith heaven realm, right? Hanju's heart jumped, but he didn't panic. How did the heavenly emperor know his true identity? He must be probing. Ever since you came to find me, Jade Emperor Zhou Yan has begun to decline. I just fused with an evil spirit and you appeared. You really care about me. The heavenly emperor smiled faintly with a sinister expression. Hanju wasn't used to his attitude and asked in his mind, is the heavenly emperor tricking me? 100 million years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? A lie detection required 100 million years? Damn system. Continue. Hanju cursed in his head. He's testing you. It was indeed a test. Hanju wasn't nervous anymore. Although the heavenly emperor's favorability towards him did not decrease, the identity of the dark forbidden lord was too important. He had to be wary. You don't have to admit it. I understand. If not for your help, I'm afraid my body and soul would have been destroyed. The heavenly emperor smiled and said, I plan to use the negative karma of this place to attain the Tao. I need a new identity so badly. How about I become the dark forbidden lord's envoy in the future? Hanju said, there's no need to guess. Many people do things in my name. Besides, you are the heavenly emperor. How can you escape the heavenly secrets? The heavenly emperor said indifferently, I have already transformed. In the eyes of the 9 heavens, I have already been possessed. The former heavenly emperor no longer exists. Only you know that I am still my original self. When I attain the Tao, I will protect you and make sure you no longer have to hide in the dark. You will help me curse some existences. How about that? Hanju remained silent. He was Xinhao King luring him into the calamity. It was fine if the heavenly emperor did not know his identity, but now, he forcefully guessed that he was the dark forbidden lord. If he followed the heavenly emperor's plan, would he be accidentally deduced by the sages? I know what you're worried about. In the calamity, sages can't deduce the people facing the calamity, let alone deduce the karma on me because I have a supreme treasure left behind by the Tao ancestor, the heavenly emperor said confidently. Hanju wasn't at ease and deduced the supreme treasure mentioned by the heavenly emperor. 3 billion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. Stability was the key to wealth. Jade slip of creation, ruined chaotic supreme treasure, a relic of the Tao ancestor. It can block the heavenly secrets and all karmic deductions. Really? How impressive! Are you sure it's on the heavenly emperor? Confirm. Hanju heaved a sigh of relief and said, who do you need me to curse? The heavenly emperor said, curse great 9 heavens and Jade Emperor Zhou Yan to death first. They might expose my current identity. Yes, they plotted against Li Daokong. I won't let them go, anyway. Hanju responded and removed the dream. After returning to reality, Hanju felt regret. He was almost exposed. He had to be more careful in the future. He couldn't be fooled. As for cursing Great Nine Heavens and Jade Emperor Zhou, it suited Hanju's intentions. The Heavenly Emperor had the fragment of the Jade Slip of creation. Sages couldn't deduce it. As long as he did not say it, Hanju would not be exposed. Hanju still trusted the Heavenly Emperor. As long as he did not admit it personally, the Heavenly Emperor would not force the blame on him. Hanju shook his head and continued cultivating. He used boring cultivation to dilute his restlessness and uneasiness. 20 years later, your good friend Jiang Dugu was attacked by your good friend Li Daokong and was severely injured. Your good friend Heavenly Emperor has entered the ancient forbidden ground. Your grand disciple Fang Liang has inherited the providence of the ancient races. He has fused with the primordial divine body and his cultivation has increased greatly. Your good friend Ji Xianshen was attacked by a deity realm cultivator of the heavenly court and was severely injured. A remnant soul managed to escape. Your good friend Jiang Dugu was attacked by your good friend Li Daokong and was severely injured. Your good friend Tai Su Tian has inherited the main body's cultivation and her providence has transformed. Your good friend Jiang Dugu was attacked by your good friend Li Daokong and was severely injured. Li Daokong went mad again. This fellow seemed to chase after whoever defeated him. He was simply a crazy devil. Hanju was speechless. Jiang Dugu was a terrifying existence that suppressed the primordial Yuan Phoenix. Moreover, he was also from the human school. Internal strife in the human school? Sighing, Hanju focused on Fang Liang. His expression became strange. Too fast. How long had he been at the Emperor realm? Cheating. Definitely. Hanju fell into deep thought. Fang Liang's rapid progress was definitely related to his soul transmigration. This kid had definitely set up a trap in the primordial era. He didn't know why he could escape the eyes of a sage. Perhaps the Tao ancestor was helping him. If this continued, this kid might be able to reach the Zenith Heaven realm before the calamity ended. Forget it, he couldn't care less. Hanju could only wish that his grand disciple could survive this calamity. Let's break through to the mid-stage Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal realm first. I'm too weak now. I didn't even curse Jade Emperor Zhou to death. Hanju shook his head and continued cursing Jade Emperor Zhou. In a cave abode, Shuan Mingyi looked at a black-robed man across the table with a smile. The black-robed man was the Heavenly Emperor. Are you really not the Heavenly Emperor? Shuan Mingyi asked with a smile. The Heavenly Emperor replied, the Heavenly Emperor is already dead. I only occupied his body. You can deduce my karma. I plan to pretend to be the previous Heavenly Emperor, and when Heavenly Emperor Feng is defeated, I will control the Heavenly Court in one go and help the Dark Forbidden Lord seize the Heavenly Tao Force. At the mention of the Dark Forbidden Lord, Shuan Mingyi's expression turned solemn, as if the Dark Forbidden Lord was secretly staring at him. The Heavenly Emperor said, I need you to help me spread the news that the Chan School is secretly manipulating the war of humans and gods. Not only the Chan School, but also the Jie School. Shuan Mingyi frowned. What about the human school? Although the three schools of the Tao sect are no longer glorious, they are still a sage sect. The three schools are united against the outside world. If we rashly disrupt their plan. The Heavenly Emperor interrupted him. The Dark Forbidden Lord is related to the human school. He cares about Li Daokong very much. Check out LT, SDVL, on NOVL bin. CM Shuan Mingyi was stunned. Didn't the Dark Forbidden Lord like the Heavenly Court? I see. No wonder Li Daokong was so loyal to the Heavenly Court. Without his support, how could that kid, Heavenly Emperor Feng, sit firmly on the Heavenly Emperor's throne? Shuan Mingyi was enlightened. Everything made sense now. How could a peerless mighty figure like the Dark Forbidden Lord suddenly appear in the world? But it made sense if it came from the most mysterious human school. Shuan Mingyi had no grudge with the human school, so this matter only made him more confident. No problem. Leave this to me. I'm best at this kind of thing. Xue Mingdi smiled proudly. Jade Emperor Zhou Yan had lost his reputation because of him. The Heavenly Emperor nodded. I still need your support in the Heavenly Court. From now on, I will help the Forbidden Lord recruit more followers and unite a new era of the Heavenly Tao. Xue Mingdi smiled. All right. As long as you need me, feel free to ask. He cursed silently. Bastard. This guy wants to fight for credit. Xue Mingdi wanted to be the most trusted aide of the Dark Forbidden Lord. He couldn't let this fellow surpass him. After returning to Hidden Sect Island, Xing Hongxian discovered that even if she obtained the sage's inheritance, she could not become the strongest prodigy of the Hidden Sect. Especially towards Liao, Xing Hongxian felt a strong sense of danger. This woman was too similar to Hanju. If he chose a Dao companion, he would definitely choose a woman like her. Xing Hongxian could only work hard and not relax. She had thought that she could relax after returning. Unexpectedly, she was working even harder than when she was staying in the human Holy Land. From the looks of it, the hidden sect was stronger than the human race's holy lands. Xing Hongxian shook her head and laughed, feeling that she had been thinking too much. Xing Hongxian wasn't the only one who felt the pressure. The others were the same. There were endless conflicts in the immortal world, and the internal affairs of the hidden sect were no longer relaxed. Fortunately, there was good competition. Years passed. About 50 years passed. Hanju's cultivation improved greatly. He finally felt that the mid-stage of the Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal Realm was no longer far away. He actually had the urge to cry. How many years had it been? This was the longest time between breakthroughs. However, although he was not far, it would still take more than a few decades. On this day, the strange deity approached Hanju again and wanted to enter his body. He didn't stop it. The intelligence of the strange god hadn't increased for a long time. It was like Hanju's pet. Ever since he obtained the ancient god's memories from the strange deity, Hanju felt that it still had a special function, but the current system couldn't detect it. Could it be that there was another sign or reaction? Under Hanju's expectations, the strange deity completely entered his body. Then, Hanju's eyes widened and he muttered, "Are you playing with me?" The strange deity sneaked into his soul universe and wandered around wantonly and happily. It didn't help him at all. Hanju sealed the reroll world to prevent the strange deity from harming it. The strange gods could easily destroy a mortal world. After a while, Hanju suddenly sensed something. He began to use his inner vision and discovered that the strange deity was stopped in the sea of stars. It split into two balls of black mist. The two balls of black mist were condensing. At first glance, it looked like the strange god had laid 2 eggs. Hanju seemed to have thought of something. He immediately used the chaotic body and condensed the Dharma idols of the heavenly constellation Fiend Celestial and the 9 nether Fiend Celestial on the 2 balls of black mist. The Fiend Celestial Dharma idols began to fuse with the black mist. Could it be? Hanju widened his eyes and his breathing quickened. The strange deity had inherited the providence of all the chaotic Fiend Celestials. Hanju might be able to create 3,000 chaotic Fiend Celestials again using the mysterious power of the Grand Unity aspect and the strange deity. Hanju became excited the moment this thought appeared. If he could control the 3,000 chaotic Fiend Celestials, wouldn't he be invincible? For a time, Hanju's favorability towards the strange deity rose to 100 stars. The strange deity was already completely controlled by him. Everything it created was naturally controlled by him. Hanju began to observe the 2 balls of black mist. Unfortunately, the fusion did not succeed. Hanju continued to try. After hundreds of times, the 2 balls of black mist finally retained a bit of the power of the Fiend Celestial. At least, it was a good beginning. Chaotic Fiend Celestials were not so easy to create. Otherwise, they would be everywhere. As long as it worked, It was worth it even if it took a long time. Several months later, the strange deity left Hanju's body. The two balls of black mist were still in the universe of stars. Hanju named them the Fiend Celestial Chi. The Fiend Celestial Chi slowly absorbed the nebulous primordial Chi in the universe as if it was cultivating. Hanju stopped paying attention to them and continued cultivating. Heavenly Court, Numinous Palace. Fang Liang sat on the throne expressionlessly. Below him stood Li Daokong and Li Xianao. Li Xianao had an impatient expression as he said, "The Heavenly Court can no longer cooperate with Chan and Jie schools. Otherwise, the human school will leave. Now, all the living beings in the immortal world think that it was the calamity caused by the three schools of the Tao sect. But our human school only took advantage of the situation and did not plan to harm all living beings." Li Xianao was truly furious and spoke bluntly. Li Daokong was expressionless. He stared at Fang Liang, waiting for his answer. Fang Liang said calmly, "Do you really think that the human school isn't involved? Jiang Dugu even dared to attack you. Is the human school really united? Although you're the two orthodox disciples, have you thought about why Jade Emperor Zhou Yan dared to attack you without restraint?"